Hi YouTube. It has been a few months since our last video. And it's been a very long road, and every time I want to do a video, Cam's not available. She's at school or she's at work. So, and then every time she wants to do a video, it's the same situation. I'm at work, or, our schedules just have not been able to get together. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just kind of bring you guys up to speed, and then also for all the first time viewers, do like a recap of everything that's kind of been going on really quickly, and then kind of let you guys know where we're at and kind of what's going on. So when we first started our TTC journey last year, we started in January of last year. We did, sorry, that's Bella. We met our donor on a website called the Known Donor Registry. And we had been searching for a donor for a little over 6 months, and this was not in January but the year before. It was like around like June, July of the year before. We had just kind of started looking for donors. We had kind of had that pregnancy talk, trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and so we started looking on the website, and we found a donor, and I'm not going to use his name or anything, but I'll say Donor X. And when we met him, we knew immediately that he was exactly what we wanted. So we talked to him for a few months, just kind of, we did have a legal contract that was written and notarized, just so that we felt protected and also he felt protected. And if you guys ever want me to go over that, I think in one of my other videos I actually did talk about the legal document that we had filled out. But if that's something that you guys want me to go over again, I'd be more than happy to. So anyways, in January we started using him. We were doing vaginal insemination in a cup, use a syringe, inseminate me, and it wasn't working. We tried that literally starting in January. We had a couple months off. I think we didn't do it in like May. We started back up in June. We stopped in like November, that kind of thing. It wasn't like very consistent. But anyways, we tried for about a year. Never got pregnant. So at that point, I was super frustrated, and I was like, I don't know what to do. So we decided to go back and see my OBGYN. The first time I had met my OBGYN and I had told him about what we were doing, we had kind of started a process, and he had did some testing on me and basically determined that there was no problem. So at that point I was like, okay, cool, let's start. But when I hadn't got pregnant and I went back and seen him, I seen him in January of this year. So we're January 2014. I went back and I seen my OBGYN. His name is Dr. Quincy. He is amazing. If you live in Florida, live in the Orlando area, Dr. Quincy is one of the best OBGYNs. I do definitely recommend him. I did more blood work with him and some urine testing with him, and basically, unfortunately, he wasn't able to find anything that, was causing me not to be able to get pregnant. So we decided at that point, he recommended me to go and see a specialist in Maitland, and I don't remember his name, but anyways, I went to go see him. Me and my wife, we went to go meet him, and this was when we had our eyes opened. One of the biggest things that I found with a lot of the videos, and not knocking anybody in their videos at all, but I found that a lot of people would talk about the process, but they didn't talk about the cost. It was an eye-opener for us to understand what a lot of people went through, because no one understands that. Nobody gets what we go through financially, mentally, emotionally. And that was another reason why I hadn't been on here, because it's been an emotional roller coaster. I cry all the time, and so it's just a frustrating thing. So anyways, we went to meet this doctor in Maitland, and that was kind of when we found out some things. So we found out that in order to continue to use the donor that we had, he is considered a known donor. In consideration to using him, the only way, well, number one, this doctor did not do IUIs, which is what we wanted to do at this point. We had already tried our own doing it, and it wasn't working, so we wanted to do an IUI. He didn't do IUIs unless the person that we were using was not a donor. Like, he would use it if you guys were married or if you had a boyfriend, but he doesn't do insemination. He just does natural, and that was something that we didn't do. So he recommended me to a doctor by the name of Dr. Trollis. and that is my specialty doctor now. He's awesome. He's in Winter Park. So I met Dr. Chalice, and we had about an hour and a half, almost 2-hour conversation, literally wanting to know everything about me, the process in which we've already taken, what we were looking at wanting to do. And what I loved about him was he was very informative. He told me that there was a possibility that, you know, if I wanted to use my partner's eggs, that he'd be willing to take her eggs out, put them inside of me. That would be IVF if that's something that we wanted to do. He talked to me about IUI. He talked to me about using donors and the process in which to, you know, collect the sperm, wash the sperm, store the sperm, do all that other stuff. And I will get to that because I do want to talk about the costing of that. So I met with Dr. Chalice. The first day I met with him, we did a ultrasound. And the ultrasound that we did with him, with my insurance, it cost me $85, which was my copay to see a specialist. So when you go see a specialty doctor, you have to pay the price of whatever it is for your copays to see a specialist. And that's what I paid. I paid my copay, which was $85, and we did an ultrasound. In the ultrasound, this is the very first day I met with him. In the ultrasound, he was able to see that I have a bunch of small cysts on my ovaries. And seeing that, he told me that there's a very big possibility that I have PCOS. With having PCOS, I don't have the symptoms of like hair, or a lot of people get like hair on their chin, or they'll get like, you know, more hair. I guess they get growing hair. Didn't have that. But other than that, they'll have like weight gain, or some of the other symptoms were now I can't remember. I did have the weight gain. I've gained quite a bit of weight. Anybody that knows me, I have been 110 pounds my entire life, and I am currently like around 126, 130. So I thought that, you know, it was just me eating more, and, you know, it's been a lot, but it's a definitely a characteristic of having PCOS. And then obviously PCOS combined with other things makes it hard for you to get pregnant. So what he wanted to do at that point is he wanted to do what's called an HSG. So after we did the ultrasound, I paid for that. He had me come back in to do testing to do an HSG. I did an HSG on cycle day, oh gosh, now I don't remember. I'm going to say the cycle day 6. Don't quite quote me on that. Because I had to go in to do my ultrasound on cycle day 2 through 4, and then I did my HSG, I think it was 6 through 10 or 6 through 11 that I had to do my HSG. So I went in. This was oh my gosh, where are we at? March, I'm sorry. This was in March. So I had my cycle. I did, on cycle day 6, I went in and I did my HSG. The HSG is basically where they put like a dye inside of your fallopian tubes, or inside of your uterus, to make sure that it comes out of your fallopian tubes. Just to make sure that there's no blockage, anything like that. That hurts. It hurts. I don't care what anybody says. It hurts. It is uncomfortable. It is not pain, but it's pressure. So anyways, I did that. I had the worst feeling, burning and irritation for like 2 days. Anyways, test results came back perfectly fine. My fallopian tubes were open, everything was good, no blockage, no nothing. So at this point, I go back in to talk with him about, you know, what are the next steps. And that's what I did today. Between cycle day 21 and cycle day 26, I had to go in and do blood work. This blood work would determine if I ovulated. It would test my progesterone. I don't know how to say it. I'm not looking at anything to see how to say it, but anyway, your progesterone, whatever. The levels to see if you're ovulating. So I went in to do my testing, and it takes them about 3 days to get your results back. And my nurse called me, and she told me over the phone that I did not ovulate. And so because I'm not ovulating, coupled with PCOS, that is probably why I'm getting false positives on my ovulation kits. So that's another thing that, was a big thing for me. We tried for over a year. I wasn't ovulating, which was the biggest issue. I was getting false positives because I was getting positives on my ovulation kits, but they were false positives because I was never ovulating. So at this point, when I had an appointment today that I went in to see them just to kind of follow up with them to figure out what we were going to do. Okay, so the cost breakdown of kind of how and where we go from here. The first thing, obviously, that we did not is, well, I can't say that we did not do, but the most expensive thing is IVF. We decided that we did not want to do IVF because at this point, before you want to go and pay over I think it was like $12,000 for that whole process. The benefit of what he does is it's like 6 and 6. $6,000 is for literally not the doctor, but the lab to go in, take the eggs and the sperm, put them together. That costs $6,000. Okay, the other $6,000, and it's not 12 even, it's like 5 something and 6 something, whatever. But anyways, his portion where the doctor actually goes in and takes it out, and he goes in and puts it in, what my doctor does is he guarantees that portion of the $6,000 you would only have to pay once. If you do not get pregnant after the first time of trying with IVF, he waives his $6,000 cost, and the only amount that you have to pay is the $6,000 to the lab. He will guarantee until you get pregnant and have a healthy baby to bring home. Not just till you get pregnant, but until you bring that baby home. He guarantees, because of what he guarantees himself, is that he will waive his cost and you just pay that. So that's something that we thought about, and it's just not financially affordable for us at this point. It is something that we think about, that if, we obviously cannot get pregnant, that, eventually we're going to have to go down that road. Excuse me. So at this point, though, we're not going to do IVF. The second thing, okay, so then there's IUI. Okay, IUI, for those that don't know, is basically when they inject the sperm into your uterus. The way that my doctor does it is they get the donor, and this was where our issue was. They get the donor, you have your known donor. If you do a known donor, they will collect the sperm from the known donor. They will wash the sperm. They will store the sperm. That process alone, just those 3 things, collect, wash, and store, is like $925. Okay, that also does the testing for the sperm to make sure that the sperm count is good. It does like STD testing. The thing that I didn't like about that one is that it is a 6-month monitoring period. They test him the day that they come in and do the sperm. They test him 3 months later, and then they test him another 3 months later. After the second testing that they, well, consider the third testing that they do with them, then they allow you to use the sperm. But because of the FDA or whatever, you have to have the sperm tested, and it's a protection for you, just to make sure that they don't have any STDs, that everything is good, which I respect. I just don't want to pay $925 for my donor to do that. Also, the IUI, it does include like the ultrasounds, the monitoring of your ovulation, and then also the insemination, which cost me $650. So total like $1,400 just for IUI. Okay, and he doesn't have any specials with that, the guarantees, anything like that. Now the other thing is, instead of doing the $925 with the known donor, you can go to a sperm bank, because the urine is already, because the sperm is already collected, washed, and stored. They will just ship it when you're ready to use it. So you would just pay the $650 for yourself, and then whatever the cost to purchase the sperm is, and things like that. The other option that he had is to do the ultrasound, the monitoring of the ovulation, and then you do your insemination at home or anything like that. And that was for the ultrasound. Okay, sorry, the ultrasound and the IUI that I talked about, that also includes the prescription for the Clomid or the Letrozole. So I'm going to tell you to tune in to my next video, because this one's already 15 minutes long. Tune into my next video and I'll tell you what route my wife and I decided to choose and kind of where we are and everything, show you guys a little bit more. Any questions that I can answer, I'd be more than happy to answer. Like I said, as I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, I wasn't able to find a lot of answers that I looked for, and I wish I would have asked more questions, but I felt like it was a little invasive. I wanted to know cost. I wanted to know how you did certain things. So if you guys have any questions and I can help in any way possible, please let me know. I'm the type of person where I just don't really care, so I'm not really concerned about negative comments or people feeling like I'm not doing the right thing. I know that what I'm doing for me and my wife is what I want to do. So I have the support of my dad, and that's all that matters. I care less about any support from anybody else. So if you have questions, or if it's negative, I would prefer for you not to have to say it, but if you so have to just be negative, do what you do. I know that you need a blessing, and all I'm going to say is God bless you. Other than that, tune into my next video. Thank you so much for subscribing, and all you guys that have watched, I really appreciate it. It is definitely a blessing to be able to go through this process and be able to talk to other people about the process that we're going through. Good luck, YouTube. Thank you. You guys have a good day. Bye.